Wherever you are, welcome to another of my takes on China. And I've had a few questions, but to be honest, there are not many answers. Every time I have an answer, things change so fast that I don't know where this is going to end. But I've already said this: China is resolute. It will not back down to US bullying, and make no mistake, everything China has done is a reaction, not a provocation. So what can I tell you that is certain? Here are a couple of things about the tariffs, with a few anecdotes thrown in. Where they are just stories that people have told me, I'll be sure to tell you. These aren't facts, but in some cases I wouldn't be surprised if they turn out to be true. I was asked, will China boycott American goods? And the simple answer is, hell no. Why should they? Let me explain. China imports liquefied natural gas from the USA in huge amounts. It has a deal, and the deal will probably continue, but if China wants to, it could scrap that deal, as it's not being honored by the other side. Whether they will do or not remains to be seen, but if they do scrap the deal, the Middle East and Australia can supply all of China's needs of gas. So for the time being, gas is not an issue. China buys soybeans and sorghum, as well as products such as seed oils from other agricultural products. And Brazil is in BRICS, and it can fulfill all of the needs that China has. But China might offer an olive branch to Australia. That would be well worth Australia taking. After all, when China and Australia had a spat over lobsters a few years ago, and wines and coals, it was the USA which cut in and delivered China's needs. There was no support from the USA for its friend, just a massive investment in undercutting their ally just when their ally needed their help. As China has promised, they will match USA tariff for tariff. Now, is that the cost of anything from the USA to China that ordinary consumers use will skyrocket? Let's have a think about that. What Chinese people use that are American? iPhones? Well, they're made here. Nike shoes? They're mostly made here and in other parts of Asia where China has free trade agreements such as the RCEP. Buicks, Lincoln and Ford, they're quite popular in China. Not as popular as they once were, but hey, that doesn't matter because all the cars sold here from US brands, including Tesla, are made here. So that won't go up. Honestly, if you know of US products sold in China that are not made here or in some other part of Asia, please let me know in the comments. Even Qualcomm, a massive tech company, derives 80% of its business here in China, as does John Deere, the agricultural tractor company. Almost every product a US citizen in the USA purchases has some component of Chinese supply chains in it. So there's no doubt it's going to cost the US a lot more than it costs China. An iPhone, which is a popular brand here, good product really, already costs more than anything Huawei produces except for the trifold phone, which iPhone doesn't have. So people who buy iPhones will probably continue because not one part of an iPhone is manufactured in the USA, is it? And it won't be subject to tariffs. What's most likely to happen is that all the goods which were manufactured in the last month or so and are awaiting shipping are going to flood the Chinese market. And there's 1 billion or so consumers here waiting to snap them up if they're cheap enough. I can only see prices reducing in China, not going up. Everything needs to be sold. But that's not the worst of it. Here's a story that I heard. Now, I can't say if this is true or not, but there's a very strong likelihood it is. A friend of mine is in a shipping company. His company normally sends about 100 containers a week to the USA. This week, they're sending 4. He's already been told by some clients that the products that are in transit now that he sent to the USA won't be accepted because even though they were paid for before the tariffs were imposed, the US is now going to charge over 100% additional tariff to let them into the country. So many of the products are going to return to China. Now, the other really worrying thing that he told me that he's heard, some of the containers are just being pushed over the side. It's cheaper to claim insurance on lost products than it is to take them into the US, not offload them and bring them back to China. I don't know if that's true or not. I hope it isn't. Now, I want to use an analogy here. I want you to imagine, which it won't be hard, that you're an upstanding member of the community. But you've been caught doing something wrong. Maybe you stole something. Maybe you were in a porn video or something just as terrible. But I have the evidence. and I want you to do something for me. Now, you have a choice. You can go to the police, you could tell your family, or you could do what I want you to do. Most people will do what I want them to do because they want to hide the shame. They want to hide the fact that they are completely vulnerable to this terrible blackmail event. The US is now in this position. China has them in a terrible blackmail event, and they aren't talking about it. They aren't on TV telling anybody how bad China is. They aren't going to the authorities because they are the authorities, and they have completely lost any dignity, any integrity that they had in their own community. What has China done that's so bad? It stopped the US from importing several rare earths from China. Neodymium and praseodymium, key elements for EV magnets, mean they won't be able to produce a lot of the things that they need. US scientists are looking at this, and they've said they're confident that the US has ample supplies of these, but they believe it will take years or maybe even decades to produce them in the USA. And only China has them. Other countries do have them, but they all send them to China to process. And it doesn't stop there. Things most normal people have never even heard of: samarium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, lutetium, scandium, and yttrium. I don't know. These are all added to the list. The biggest clients of these products are Lockheed Martin, Tesla, and Apple. And according to one expert, Mel Sanderson, a director at Rare Earths America, China was very selective, and I quote, "They picked the things that are crucial for the US economy." Oh dear, Lockheed isn't getting its parts. Raytheon won't get what they want. Apple and Tesla shareholders haven't found out yet that unless their products are made in China using these Chinese minerals, then shipped to the USA with 100% tariffs, they aren't going to get them into the USA at all because they're now restricted. Shareholder meetings in the coming weeks are going to be very loud. Investor dividends are going to see some pretty poor returns. The stock market will suffer. But what's really most likely to happen is that shelves are going to be empty in just a few days' time. And what is available now isn't just going up by 100% to accommodate these tariffs. It'll have to go up by much more, because the only way to replace any of these products is to pay those tariffs or wait until about 2029, when the USA might have some factories to produce them in. I could be wrong, but I suspect Trump will call a truce in this. This is going to impact on Chinese workers who make products for America. There's no doubt about that. But it's much more likely to impact far more on American consumers and America's economy. China's economy will take a hit. They might not achieve their 5% forecast, but I'm willing to bet they still get close to it. There won't be any empty shelves. There won't be runaway inflation in China. There will be some diversification, some new products, some new markets, and probably some new friends as a result of it. If Trump doesn't call a truce and back down, well, you people watching this are all smart enough to know what comes next. It won't be pretty. I'll bet Trump wishes it was just a porn video he'd been caught in. As it is now, he's in a lot deeper trouble than he and his advisors seem to realize. Let's see how this develops. That's my take on the tariff situation right now, and I will see you next time. Thanks once again for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye for now.